Melissa, you'll be doing the readings, right?
Okay.
Okay, and Joe, you gonna do the roll call?
Yeah, let me just write these down first.
I'd like to call a meeting to order. It's 7:04. Really? That better? Oh, you gotta turn it down. I don't know how to adjust it. Okay? Thank you. Joe?
All right, present tonight is Alyssa Hurd, Mary Taggett, myself, Joe Leggett, Kenny Baptiste, Jim Smith, and Agent Dave Plachette.
Thank you. Okay, I want to remind everybody that this is being recorded for television. And I think we'll do a first continued hearing. There'll be a notice of intent for Mercedes Brom, Kara McKinnon and Keys Engineering.
That hearing is going to be further continued to our next meeting, which is January 16th.
Okay, take a motion.
So moved.
Alicia's motion, Mary's second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
Is that 116?
116.
Thank you.
Okay, Town of Wareham Municipal Maintenance Department, care of GAF Engineering.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Bob Rogers with GAF Engineering.
Thank you.
At the prior hearing, I believe we answered all of the commission's questions, but we were waiting to allow more time for the Division of Fish and Wildlife to respond. I had basically submitted a letter saying that we were exempt, and ultimately, Natural Heritage Endangered Species Program disagreed, so we provided them with a checklist and a $300 filing fee, and today they issued a letter stating that this project does not result in a take of rare species habitat. So the plans that you have are the same plans that we reviewed at the initial public hearing. It's maintenance of an existing gravel road, and it's repair and replacement of some drainage components.
Okay, David, can I highlight, please?
So the project location is at Murphy Street in the Swifts Beach area, and as was just mentioned, the project involves upgrading the stormwater drainage system in Murphy Street and filling in washed-out areas of the street, and this is within a coastal beach and within a coastal flood zone. The site was also within the estimated habitat of rare and endangered species. The deteriorated stormwater drainage structures within a section of Murphy Street are to be replaced with new structures. An existing manhole is to be replaced, and the outfall pipe also proposed to be replaced. The existing manhole, which currently sat in the beach area, is going to be moved further back into the street layout, as shown on the plan. And again, the existing outfall pipe, which is deteriorated, is going to be replaced as well. We did not have comments from Natural Heritage at the last meeting, which we have now received, and they have no negative comments. We do have a DEP file number for the project, so I would recommend the issuance of the order of conditions with the standard conditions based on the revised plan that we have, and the added condition that the gravel that's to be used to fill in the holes and the ruts on the road is to be a natural gravel material and not a reprocessed asphalt type material.
That's fine, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anything else to add?
No, sir.
No. Jim? Joe?
No?
Mary? Lisa? Anybody from the audience?
See none, motion to close?
Joe's motion, seconded by Alicia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Make
Thank you.
a motion to grant the standard conditions and the added condition of the gravel to be used on the roadway be of natural material.
Second.
Okay, Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you. Well, you're already gone. Okay.
How much did you say this was? 300 for the filing on that? Division of
Yes,
Fisheries.
Joe, that's correct. My common sense take was that if a paved roadway is exempt, a gravel roadway should be exempt. That's not the way it works.
No, that's common sense thinking, though, so that doesn't work when it comes to...
So we provided what we needed to.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Mario Signor, care of JF Engineering.
I'm Bill Madden from GAF, here on behalf of Mario Signori.
Thank you. David, you ready? You almost ready?
Almost.
Ooh, small ones, good. Okay, this is the one we saw,
More if
right?
you need any more?
No. We're all set. You need a bigger one down there?
No, we got a couple of,
You got extras? Yeah.
couple in there.
You need one for him?
He's got one.
This was an after-the-fact filing, right?
I believe so.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this site is 91 Edgewater Drive, and this project involves the reconstruction and expansion of an existing deck in the buffer zone to a coastal bank and within a coastal flood zone. This project has already been started, so this is an after-the-fact filing for work that's already been started at the site. An existing deck that was approximately 8 by 14, approximately 8 to 14 feet wide and 47 feet long has been removed, and a new 16 by 47-foot deck frame has been installed, along with sonotubes that have been installed as well. There was no building permit for this project, so they were given a cease and desist order by the building inspector. And so now they're trying to go through the proper channels, which is why it's before us at this point. At the last meeting, I had questioned the existence of a granite block wall, which looked newer than the existing concrete behind it. So there was some discussion about showing some information as to how long that's actually existed there. The claim is that the project is being done in a previously altered area, even though it's within the 30-foot no-activity zone. So that's something the commission will have to evaluate. This deck is bigger than what was originally there. We do have a DEP file number for the project. I know some of the members went to this site and took a look at what's currently there, and you can have your comments about that since you've taken a look at it.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything to add before we go, Bill?
No, you guys, you can go ahead and, I guess, present what your findings were from the onsite of December 24th. That'd be fine.
Okay, Joe, you want to share it?
Yeah, I can start. Did go down there, and to me, it looks like it's the same stone, laid out exactly the same way. It even it's got the same tilting as up here, which is definitely, you can tell by the block that's in there, it's been there for quite a few years. So I don't have any problem with the project at all that way. Only problem I have is it's an after-the-fact filing, so I'd suggest at least $100 fine just for being an after-the-fact. And that's all I have to say on that.
Mary?
I agree with what Joe said. It certainly looked like it had been there for a while. It did, fit in properly with everything, showed that it was there. There was even, shrub and whatever that had developed there, so.
Elisa?
Nothing.
Okay, I did go down the site also, and I agree with Joe. Anybody in the audience wishing to comment on this? You're all
Seeing none,
set,
I'll
Jim?
make a motion to close.
Second?
Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor? Opposed, abstentions?
Make a motion to grant this after-the-fact notice of intent with an additional $100 fine just because this is an after-the-fact filing.
Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I can line them up at the same time.
You want to do one more, before we go to hearings? Still got a minute.
Sure.
Okay, Glenn and Pamela Johnson, continued NOI, care of Charon and Associates. Did I do that right? Anybody here for that?
Say, just postpone it for the moment or hold off
Table it?
on it.
Table it.
You don't even have to because
No.
it's just a continued hearing, but you can do the last one since
All
that's
right,
just a
we'll
continuance.
move on. We'll move on. We'll call that one again. Kenneth
Nelligan.
Nelligan.
They've requested a continuance of this hearing as well to our meeting of February 20th.
220,
Yeah.
so moved.
Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. No, it's past 7:15. We can now continue with the regular hearings, if you would, Elisa.
Notice of public hearings pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protected Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass., on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, at 7:15 p.m. on the request for determination of applicability for Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program, MCZM, care of Joe Costa, 2870 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, to conduct a study of salt marsh loss, sea level rise, and habitat change located on Assessor's Map 28 and 29, lots 281004 and 291004, 32 Little Harbor Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, when you have a seat, can you identify yourself for the record, please? And then David will highlight.
My name is Joe Costa. I'm Director of the Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program, part of Massachusetts Coastal Zone Management.
Thank you. David?
This project site is at Little Harbor Beach, and the project involves the installation of a long-term elevation benchmark and other monitoring points within a coastal barrier beach, coastal dune, and within salt marshes, and also within a coastal flood zone. A stainless steel rod would be driven into an upland area in the coastal dune behind the existing parking lot in the location indicated on the plan that was submitted. The rod would be driven to refusal and then capped to serve as a permanent elevation benchmark for ongoing monitoring purposes. Additionally, approximately 6 1-inch PVC pipes would be driven into the adjacent salt marsh and nearby uplands to form 3 transect lines, again to monitor salt marsh loss and sea level rise over time. There's also a proposal to install a temporary sensor in the adjacent tidal creek to measure tidal elevations. There's no machinery to be involved for the installation of these items. Ongoing monitoring would be conducted at the site going forward. I see this as a relatively minor activity, so I'd recommend the approval of this work with a negative determination number 2 for the project.
Okay, do you have anything to say or add?
No, well, the Buzzards Bay National Estuary Program is doing this project in collaboration with the citizens group, the Buzzards Bay Coalition, Dr. Rachel Jakuba of that organization, and with a couple of scientists in Woods Hole that are members of the Science Advisory Committee of the Buzzards Bay Coalition. That would be Dr. Chris Neal of the Woods Hole Research Center and Dr. Ann Giblin of the Marine Biological Laboratory. And what we're trying to do here is, at a number of sites around Buzzards Bay, probably about 15 altogether, we want to establish these elevation benchmarks and these transects. We'll monitor them probably a few times in the first year, maybe twice in the second year, but we envision that scientists and other partners will go to these transects every several years to document changes in vegetation, document disturbance after storms, and to document salt marsh loss, erosion of creek banks and so forth. So it's just part of a long-term study, and we just wanted to put these elevation benchmarks in the marsh. There will be some short-term benefits to Wareham in that one of the products that we'll be producing here is precise geodetic elevations of the high tide line. The Conservation Commission, of course, uses the high tide line in the review of plans for the jurisdiction of the Wetlands Protection Act and the boundary of salt marshes. So that'll be one of the short-term projects, but products of the study. But the long-term product of the study is the changes in salt marsh around Buzzards Bay, including the site.
Thank you. Any questions, Jim?
No questions.
Mary?
No question.
Elisa?
No?
Anybody in the audience have any
Seeing none,
comments?
motion to close.
Second.
Joe's motion, seconded by
Mary.
Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
Motion to grant with a -2 determination.
Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Watch out for those fiddler crabs down there. Yeah. They work as an army.
They do, they do.
Notice of public hearing. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass., on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, at 7:15 p.m. on the request for determination of applicability for Anna Pollock, care of GAF Engineering, Inc., 266 Main Street, Wareham, Mass., 02571, to install a new sewage disposal system located on Assessor's Map 4, Lot H9, 1 Tinkers Lane, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob Rogers with GAF Engineering.
David, when you're ready.
The project location is at 1 Tinkers Lane in Onset, and the project involves a septic upgrade within a coastal flood zone. An existing cesspool is to be replaced with a new Title V system, and this is in coastal flood zone AE elevation 14. This is a relatively flat site, and there's no other grade changes proposed, and the work is not within the buffer zone to any other resource areas, so I would recommend the approval of the project with a negative determination number 2.
Okay, do you have anything to add?
Just that we did make an application to the Board of Health. The Board of Health did not meet in December, so the plan is pending before the Board of Health this month in January. And I would answer any questions that the commission members might have.
Okay. Jim? Joe?
I'm just wondering, can we condition this on approval of the Board of Health?
Okay. Mary? Questions?
No question.
Elisa? Anybody in the audience?
Seeing none, motion to close.
Second.
Joe's motion, seconded by Elisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? For the motion?
Motion to grant with a -2 determination contingent on the Board of Health's approval.
Joe's motion,
Second.
seconded by Elisa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Notice of public hearings pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protected Bylaw, Division 6. A public hearing will be held in Room 320, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, at 7:15 p.m. on the abbreviated Notice of Resource and Area Delineation for Kate Benton, care of GAF Engineering, Inc., 266 Main Street, Wareham, Massachusetts, for resource area delineation for property located on Assessor's Map 33, Lot 3A, 85 Towie Road, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Don't have GAF on behalf of Cape Bend. These are revised plans.
Yep.
Per discussion with Jeff today, and those are half size.
All right, great.
Ah, good man. I like that half-size stuff.
David?
All right. No, I'm good. So this project site is at 85 Tohey Road, and this application is for the commission to approve wetland resource area delineations on this property, specifically coastal bank and edge of salt marsh. We've just been handed a revised plan tonight, which shows the bless you. Shows the resource area boundaries with the numbered points along the flag lines. The original plan didn't show those, so I'd asked for a revision to be made to the plan, which has been submitted, so we do have an accurate plan now for those resource areas. I didn't have a problem with the way they're depicted. The only thing is we didn't get a DEP file number for this, so I would have recommended approval of the line, but with no DEP number, we can't really do that, so I would just recommend a continuance to the next meeting just for the DEP number.
Anything to add, Bill?
No, that's fine. We have to wait for the file number, so that's fine. I guess there are no questions relative to the resource area, so we feel it's accurate, so.
Okay.
Good.
Make 'em-
Harry? Lisa?
make a
Public?
motion to
Anybody in the
continue.
public? Better do that. Okay. Nobody out there, but that doesn't matter. Okay. No. You made your motion? Yeah. Okay.
Second.
Joe's motion, seconded by Mary.
Is the motion?
Motion to continue.
Okay, to
116.
116.
116?
14 days from today, yep, 16th.
All right. Motion to continue till 116 by Joe, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we skip.
Okay. We have a continued NOI for Glenn and Pamela Johnson, care of Charon Associates.
Ah, they're here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, for the record, Carmelo Nicolosi, Shard Associates.
Okay, thank you. David will highlight. We'll go from there.
Need another one?
I want that paper clipped back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the project site is at 39 through 41 East Boulevard in Onset. And the project involves repairs to an existing seawall along a coastal bank and also within a coastal flood zone. An existing stone seawall approximately 80 feet in length is to be repaired by filling in voids with stone and mortar and then pouring concrete behind the wall for support. The washed out area behind the wall would then be backfilled with clean fill and loamed and seeded to match the grade. A concrete cap would be poured just over the top of the stone wall area. Also proposed was to remove and replace an existing 4-by-7-foot entry area, and this would have its own new foundation. Hay bales would be installed around this work area as shown. We do have a DEP file number for the project. At the last meeting, we did not have comments from the Mass Division of Marine Fisheries on this project, which we have now received. They did make several comments on the project, most of which were, common items, things we would put into our order of conditions anyway, so they didn't have any suggestions of not approving the project. So I would recommend that we approve the project with the standard conditions, and also the added conditions that any fill material be clean fill, and no construction materials or debris to be stored in the intertidal area.
Do you have anything to add?
No, that would be it.
Questions, Jim? Joe?
None?
Mary?
No.
Elisa? Anybody in the public?
See none, motion to close.
Joe's motion,
Dave, what was that second one you wanted to add?
second by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? What?
Second one was no materials or debris to be stored in the intertidal area.
Okay.
Further motion, Joe?
Okay, motion to grant with the standard stipulations, with also the added stipulations of all fills shall be clean fill type, and no construction materials or debris should be stored in the intertidal areas, as well as all the other recommendations offered by the Division of Marine Fisheries in their letter dated January 2nd, 2019.
Mary?
Second.
Okay, Joe's motion, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy
You
New
too.
Year.
Paperclip.
Which one is?
On all the enforcement order items, I've put these all back on the agenda in case there was any discussion to be had by commission members on these particular topics. So I know David Broderick, I think, had contacted Bill Madden from GAF. I don't know if that's what you're here to discuss or comment on, or just provide some update to the board. If not, then that's fine too. I mean, we didn't, okay.
Yeah, I did talk, I'm Bill Madden from GF here on behalf of David Broderick. I did talk to David prior to the holiday season, and, he's just tasked me with coming before you to remedy the enforcement order that's been issued on the project. When we conducted our site inspection on the 24th at Signore's, we also went over to David Broderick's site with Mary, Joe, and Ken, just to, get a firsthand view of it. I guess I'm looking for a little bit of direction on that, in some regards. I mean, it's there's been quite a bit of work done out there, and it's going to be very difficult to restore it back to its original conditions. With any degree of confidence that it would be able to, survive any degree of time. And, I'm really perplexed by what I'm going to do with it right now without looking at it. So at least we were down there and had a look-see. I mean, just, it's pretty overwhelming, I guess, from the work that's taken place. So I guess I'm just looking for a little bit of sense of direction on it. And, I know what we'd like to do. We'd like to continue on with the theme that's been started down there, but we also understand that it was done without the benefit of a permit. And, there certainly is going to be a need for me to further research the wetlands regulations for work on a coastal bank and in a coastal bank, and, you know, whether it's even permissible to hard armor a portion of it, other than the toe that already has a seawall there that's in not really the best condition either. So, you know, do we really take this project, make it more comprehensive as far as a repair? Do we remedy it the best we can and try to restore it back to its conditions? Or a hybrid of all the above? So I didn't know if you had an opportunity to think about what was going on out there and what we might do. We passed around a few ideas, but nothing was concrete or cast in stone. So I'm really just searching out a little bit of opinion from the commission on that.
Yeah, I would say probably the best thing is what you said, is to maybe do a little of the research first to see, you know, what is even permittable there. Look into some restoration. I know, you know, ideally, you'd like to see it restored to what it was. You know, that to me is the way things should go. But you'll have to look into that and see how feasible that is. I know Sandy was not happy with this project and wanted to see restoration done. And again, like you said, there needs to be a little bit of looking into what's even permittable there. So once that's more clear and you have a chance to really digest it, maybe there'll be an easier solution. And I don't know what the condition of the existing seawall is in your view as an engineer. I mean, it's not great, so, but they did repair it. They did, you know, fill in all the cracks and everything. And that obviously was there, so yeah, maybe that's the way to start, is just to get a better sense of what's even permissible there in an area that was just a vegetated coastal bank that he altered.
Yeah, and I know that once we do an existing condition survey, the way it exists today, we'll be in a position to compare it to what was there when we did the first work for him, because we did do a complete existing condition survey there. So an overlay of the two data sets will not be difficult for us to do at that time. I think that'll tell a little better story as to what, well, it will tell the whole story, what was there and what is there today, and then, you know, put us in a better position to assess what to do. You know, it was quite a bit of work. But I think that, you know, at least there is some stabilization. There's some erosion control blanket on top of the disturbed soils and what have you. It didn't look to me that there was any erosion coming down the bank and finding its way onto the shoreline. So there was also some straw wattles and some silt fence placed there. So as far as that goes, there has been some measures put in place to prevent any erosion and subsequent sedimentation of the resource area. So I guess if there's any positive notes to speak about the way things are, I think those perhaps are the two. But that's where we are with it, and it'll take me a little bit of time to schedule the field crew out there and pull that work together, but that's what I think we're going to do initially, and then, you know, definitely assess the regulations to see what is capable of being done there. I think that's maybe where it's all going to, what it's all going to come down to. So that was pretty much it. I know he's anxious to hear back from me, and I'll just report back what we discussed tonight, what we discussed on the 24th, and you know, plan to move it forward. I don't think that I'll have anything done before the end of this month on it, to be honest. So just work toward that end.
Yeah, that's makes sense. I mean, this is not something that was expected, so that's the way it is.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And so as long as he is conscious that he has to maintain the erosion control, then it should be fine until such time that you get it on your list of things to do.
It's on the list. Okay. Well, I just wanted to give you an update on that and see how he goes. I don't think anybody's real happy about the situation, but, you know, we'll do the best we can to remedy it.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
May, Bill?
Yes.
I think I kind of agree with you on that. It's going to be several different solutions on that one. When I was down there, I took a good look at the wall, that seawall. I have concerns of it not making it through a major storm action.
Yeah, so it might make more sense to be more comprehensive
Yeah, he's
than
gonna
what
have
he
to
might
file
have even been planning to do, and if we can get something that's better than what was there, and fall within the
He's gonna
frame.
have to file a notice of intent anyways.
Well, absolutely, that would be
So I might as
required.
well try to get a good foundation, you might say, started on that, and go from there, because I think right now, the wall, the only thing it's saving is probably the two pilings right up against it.
Yeah, yeah, really. And and then when we look at what, the adjacent properties, what their
Yeah.
protection consists of, and how do you make the transition from one to the other and not create an adverse condition for everyone as a result, I think is another element that needs to be kind of thought out.
Now, will to the 20th of February be enough time? We continue this? Well, it's not even an hearing anyway, so.
Right, yeah, we don't have to continue it.
I'll keep Dave posted as time goes on, and, we'll probably be here a few times between now and then, and, I'll keep the commission up to speed with what we're planning and
I'd like
planning
to
to
see a
do.
plan that we'd approve anyways if he's gonna file it, and then we can go from there as far as if there's gonna be any work done to bring back parts of the bank or parts of the project back to the original part, too.
Okay. All right. Well, good enough.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything further on any of these other items unless commission members have questions or want to discuss any of these other sites.
The McDuffie site, we visited that, myself and Joe, and
I gotta get to the
they were,
wetlands delineated.
yeah, they were, I did tell them that they could clean up the logs that are laying there, but no cutting of any more, and they had to get an engineer and pursue a filing to restore the property, restore the area, because they did go right down to the edge of the water.
Into it.
Yeah. That's all I got on that. You got anything to add, Joe?
No.
Okay, that's where
Jordan-
we're sitting
Which
there.
one was Jordan Road?
Jordan Road is the one over there in, off of Charge Pond.
Oh, okay.
You can talk about that one.
No, I didn't really find too much wrong there, except for it looks like piles of stuff there, like, snowplow or something like that. Actually, the cleaning up, I did see, I still remember the other side looking like that. And the stuff that I saw cleared was all mostly small stuff that was clumped together. And I almost liken it to good forestry practices, really. Except for, limbing up. So I'm not too concerned about that, but I would like the junk that's piled up there to be removed or spread out or something like that.
Yeah, well, they would have to file a notice anyway, because they never got any approval to do any work at all in the buffer zone, so they'll have to file, and the board then can put whatever conditions you want.
Okay,
They've
so
they've
we'll-
already been issued a fine anyway, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can put that aside. What was the Blackmore Pond Road one?
That was the construction site
Oh,
next
Yeah,
to
the
the bog.
Cranberry Bog.
yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it
They
is.
did attempt to kind of clean up
Yeah.
the concerned area close to the bog, but they still have an access issue because nobody really knows who owns that roadway that they're entering on, and for it to be, like you said, David, it's not bog-related activities, so it's not exempt. So, well, I would say they're gonna need some kind of filing, maybe an RDA anyway, and that should push the envelope for them to get find out who owns that piece of property and go about getting the proper permission to use it.
That I agree with, and the other thing would be actually to have any kind of machinery he's got on the left-hand side of that lot, move it over to the right-hand side.
Yeah, well, most of the stuff he has moved away
Yeah.
from, he seems to be using that right-hand corner more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally would like to see a notice of intent filed, only so that the commission can condition it more specifically to require the things that you're talking about. And then, it's not really a conservation thing, but I don't even know how they're operating a commercial business there anyway, because it's not zoned for that.
Yeah.
It's a residential area.
That's stepping over our line.
So, I mean, that's another matter, but in the enforcement order, I did indicate that a notice should be filed, so that way this could get addressed. I think it just makes more sense for the commission to have conditions on it and approve things that can legally be approved as long as they're outside the 50-foot. Hey, that's fine, but at least you'll have an order of conditions in place, and everybody will be understanding clearly what they should or shouldn't do there.
Right, they were fine too, right?
Yes,
And what about Fairing Hill Road? Was that fine?
yes.
Going back to Blackmore Pond, which house is that property that they're using now attached to? Is it attached to one of the properties there, the houses?
It's attached to one of the houses, yeah, the one that's at 142, number 142, which is kind of, they almost have a little access going into that yard as well. But that's the house.
Well, I think on the access, I think they just probably figured they got Muggsy's permission to go in that way, and that's where they thought it was fine, so.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying that one of the owners of the company is not familiar with wetlands situations,
Yeah, no.
so, well, have them get it straightened out, have them file, send a letter and have them file, that's all.
Yeah, they were kind of directed that way already through the enforcement order, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Anything else down below you want to talk about, or?
No,
Take
Okay.
a motion to adjourn.
You have anything to say from the newspaper?
Come on, you have to.
Oh, come on, newspaper's always got something to say.
The Winship LLC, is there anything that's in conservation's hands right now? I know it's at the bottom of the agenda, but is it more a matter of planning or zoning right now?
That's in zoning, I
That's
believe,
where it
right
is,
now.
isn't it?
yes,
It's been popping around.
right, as far as you're referring to the tree clearing issue, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's before the planning at the moment, right?
Okay, so it's really not conservation anymore, or at least not right now.
Not at this
Correct.
moment, no.
Okay.
They always throw that stuff back at us, though.
See what sticks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will entertain a motion then.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by John, seconded by Mary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay, wrap it up.